We have talked about the type of plants that will go through photosynthesis. We have also discussed the cell components that are responsible for the processes of photosynthesis. But now we need to look at the actual reactions that are occurring. We have already discussed the reactants as carbon dioxide and water. The products are glucose, water, and oxygen. Glucose is the product that the plant is most interested in producing. Why? That is the food source for the plant. The byproducts, or the products that the plant produces that are not directly used by the plant, are water and oxygen. Now, this water that is produced can also be reused as a reactant in the next photosynthetic reaction. We'll look at this more. Photosynthesis occurs through a series of redox reactions. If you remember from biochemistry, we talked about redox reactions in the following sense. We are simply moving electrons around. If a compound is reduced, it adds electrons. So what does reduction actually mean if we are adding electrons? Remember, we are actually decreasing the charge of the compound or molecule. So by adding an extra electron, you have made it more negative or reduced it. When we oxidize something, we say we're going to lose electrons. So if you lose electrons, what happens to the charge? Right. If you add an electron here, it became more negative. If you subtract an electron, it's going to become less negative. So this redox, or reduced and oxidized reaction, looks at the reduction of carbon dioxide to glucose. So if we have reduced it, what have we given to it? Right, an electron. If we've oxidized water, what have we done to it? Right, we took away electrons. The shortcut for this, remember, is the phrase Leo the lion goes grr. Leo, lose electrons, oxidize. Grr, gain electrons, reduced. In cellular respiration, the process by which you convert energy uses redox reactions as well, but we are taking energy out of glucose and giving it to you, storing it in the form of ATP. In photosynthesis, we're actually going to put energy in and produce glucose. We do this through two types of reactions in photosynthesis. The first is something known as a light reaction. So it will actually use light energy. In our light reaction, when do you think this reaction occurs? If the reaction requires light, it would occur in the daytime. These light reactions are going to actually cause us to split water. What does this actually mean for us? It means that we are going to energize water and release electrons. We'll need those. If you're interested, you can learn more about the electron carriers that will move electrons around the inside of our plant, like a little taxi cab. This helps to make the reactions more efficient but is not a focus for us right now. The dark reactions associated with something known as the Calvin cycle occurs within the stroma of the chloroplast. Remember, stroma with an R in this case. So what we're looking for are those stacks that we talked about in structures. So we're going to look for the stroma and those stacks associated with the space surrounding them. What we want to do is actually convert carbon dioxide into glucose. Plants only produce glucose in the dark reaction. Dark reactions do not have to occur at night. The dark in this case refers to no sunlight needed. Or something we refer to as light-independent reactions. This is the overview for all of photosynthesis and what we will use as we go through the different reactions. Light coming in to the thylakoids and producing oxygen from this reaction. And then the transfer of electrons to the stroma so that we can go through the Calvin cycle and actually convert carbon dioxide into sugar. So the energy that we need to build this glucose chain comes from the electrons released from water.